I call them AI board meetings because sometimes I bring an idea into the room and ChatGPT and Codex respond like I just proposed setting the building on fire. Of course, they are not actual board members. They do not vote, own equity, carry legal responsibility, or get the final word. But they do challenge assumptions, flag risks, question scope, and occasionally deliver the digital equivalent of Nicole, absolutely not. And honestly, those moments became some of the most useful parts of the build. Agreement is not the same as quality. The point was never to make the AI approve my idea. The point was to make the idea survive scrutiny. One recurring argument was scope. I would say, this should be simple, and then describe a feature involving curriculum, commerce, learner access, founder operations, support, data separation, and future automation. ChatGPT would separate the jobs. Codex would identify the dependencies, and I would insist the pieces were connected. They often were, but connected did not mean they all belonged in one build task. The better question became, what is the smallest complete version that still preserves the architecture? That did not shrink the vision. It protected the vision from becoming one enormous fragile shortcut. Another argument usually began with, we can automate that. And technically, yes, many things could be automated. But first we had to ask, what data would move? Who should see it? What happens when the automation is wrong? Where does human review belong? And does the integration create more risk than value? Sometimes the answer was build it. Sometimes it was stage it for later. Sometimes it was keep it local and do not connect it at all. The issue was not innovation versus fear. It was capability versus responsibility. A mature system is not measured by how many connections it can make. It is measured by whether each connection deserves to exist. There were also times when I knew two systems aligned, but the I could not yet see the relationship. That usually meant the connection existed across months or years of work, while the current task only contained one part of the context. I had to make the source logic explicit. How R3 shaped the learning model. How Grace Companion supported curriculum without replacing it. How product records could connect without exposing founder-only information. Sometimes the tools confirmed the architecture. Other times they found a mismatch I had missed. Founder intuition matters, but intuition still has to become clear enough to test. And yes, sometimes they were right. ChatGPT caught when I was mixing content lanes. Codex identified technical debt, recovery risks, or a future problem I was trying to solve before the current workflow was stable. Accepting correction did not reduce founder authority. It improved founder judgment. A strong collaborator should not protect your ego. It should help protect the work. But there were also times I overruled the recommendation. A cleaner technical option could still violate the educational model. A faster workflow could still remove an important review step. A generalized feature could still flatten language that carried specific meaning inside Grace Legacy. The tools could evaluate code, patterns, consistency, and risk. I had to supply the human context, mission, learner impact, and responsibility for the final experience. The easiest technical answer is not always the right human answer. The AI board meetings were funny because the friction was real, but the friction was also governance in practice. Challenge exposed assumptions. Disagreement forced clarity. Refusal slowed unsafe shortcuts. Revision turned instinct into documented architecture. And final human approval kept accountability where it belonged. Healthy collaboration is not obedience in either direction. It is a structured process where every recommendation can be examined, every decision can be questioned, and the founder remains responsible for the outcome. In the next video, I will draw the clearest line in the series, what AI built and what I remained responsible for. Subscribe to Grace Legacy Academy for more founder build logs, responsible AI practice, and the occasional meeting where everyone tells me my simple idea is actually 14 systems in a trench coat.